Hey everybody, this is Ahmed.
And Luffy.
And this is the Brotherly Love Podcast, episode 24. How are you guys doing this fine
beautiful people?
Morning, afternoon, evening, night.
The great in-between.
Yeah.
What do they call it in Soul? The Great Beyond?
The Great Beyond. It was the Great Beyond.
You in that great limbo.
Yeah, no, it was like Great Beyond and like the something before. I'm not 100% sure what it was.
The Great Before?
Maybe. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was a good movie.
The piss poor before.
Damn. No, it was a really good movie though.
Soul?
I think Soul was a really, really good movie just in general. Like it talked about, spirit guides. It talked about, manifestation. It talked about being present in the world. And I related to it on a personal level because the main character is a musician. So I was like, oh, this is perfect for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Sorry. Let me take a step back. I thought it was a good movie.
Okay.
The reason I didn't think it was great, I feel like, is just because of the expectations that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that were, I don't know. Everyone that I heard about this movie from told me that this is the greatest movie of all time. This is life-changing, mind-blowing. And it was a good movie. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was actually a great movie. But, like, it wasn't in any way, shape, or form, for me at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, life-changing. There was no moment where I was like, whoa. Like, it was basic.
No, I mean, that's fair. I mean, for every single person, it's going to be different. I just remember when it first came out, I was on Twitter, and, like, for a good 24 hours, all I saw were just tweets. Everyone was like, oh my God, you have to watch Soul. They talk about, spirituality and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, this sounds like a, good movie. But when I was going in, I didn't want to have any expectations because I know how the public is when it comes to just a new movie that quote unquote breaks boundaries. And so I was like, I'm not about to hype myself up like, oh, this is going to be such a great movie and then be disappointed. I was like, I'm just going to see how it is.
Doesn't that show you how much like expectations ruin stuff though? Like when you place expectations
on anything.
And that's why you shouldn't have expectations. If I would have walked in with no expectation, I'd be like, oh, that's a great movie. Yeah. Right? But I had to pause myself and be like, it was a good movie, a decent, even though it was a great movie. It's just that my expectations were on 10 because if you're telling me a movie is changing your life, I'm like, all right, like this must be the Bible in movie version. You know what I'm saying? Like there must be something here. And there was, the other side of it too. And this could either play for or against, just depending, is that the things that happened in Soul is conversations that we have every single day. Yeah. As a family, with my friends, and especially on this podcast, like you said, manifestation, love, passion, purpose, God, all of those things that, the movie touches on and themes of this and being in the zone and a flow state. And we've talked about all of those things, So for me, seeing it, seeing those topics animated and like articulated in an animation, I guess you could say, was interesting. That's why it was really good, but it wasn't necessarily life-changing or say, for instance, if I had seen that movie when I was 19, and before I had read all those self-help books and, found these ideas and came to like understand a lot of things, it probably would have hit me a lot deeper. The same way that now, like I go back, it's hilarious because there's certain movies, certain
movies. It's like I said, certain movies.
I had to say groovy, like yeah. There's certain books, my bad, that I always recommend people read.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna name them just for this.
I have a couple I think that you're gonna name, but continue.
But no, the reason I'm not gonna name them is because when I read those same books now, a lot of times I'd be like.
You think so?
Yeah, I go back and I'll reread it and I'll be like, and it's not that I don't see the greatness of the book, right? But in the same way that, but I don't have that same excitement anymore. Like the first time, when the first time that you connect the dot, that is like,
it's a big explosion.
Yeah, the first time like you read a book or you hear a phrase or you watch a movie and they connect two related ideas in a way that you've never like thought of before. like it makes this new connection in your mind. You're like, oh, and you know, your sensors are going ding, 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 ding. The second, third time, it's almost like when you do drugs, you know, it's like the first time, that first hit be like, bam, you know? But then like, you know, you on your seventh hit of crack cocaine and like, it just ain't hitting.
Crack? I thought we were talking about, you know, the devil's lettuce, the marijuana, you know what I'm saying?
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah, this nigga talking about crack cocaine. Like,
no, we don't mess with the devil's lettuce. We ain't dope fiends, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get that, but I guess for my case, whenever I reread a book that I've already read before, and yeah, you know, like I connected the dots at first, it's similar to what we talked about, where it's like knowledge, wisdom, and insight, right? So when I first read it, it's the knowledge of like, oh, I didn't even consider this perspective before ever in my life. And then when I reread it, maybe a month later, there might be an event in my life that, you know, formed and shaped how I thought about it. And I'm like, oh, that's even deeper now because of what happened before, you know, but
100%.
Yeah, but to everyone's, you know, liking, it's like, you know, I understand, like if I read The Alchemist again, I would have been like, all right, bro, you know, I get it. What you mean, like, oh, dreams come true. You just gotta believe in it.
You don't need to read The Alchemist to read The Alchemist. You can read any other of Paulo Coelho's book.
Yeah,
you
but
read The Alchemist.
I like The Alchemist. That's a really
and that's
good book.
not a diss to him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I read The Alchemist. I read The Aleph, or it's called The Aleph, and if you want to speak it in English, but the Aleph is a letter in Arabic, and it means
it's A.
It's A. Yeah,
it's the first letter.
The A. That's the actual name of the book. I read that when I think I was overseas, and I was reading it, and I absolutely just I loved it because it spoke on past lives, of course, but it also spoke on like a lot of things that will happen in my life, but I didn't know how to name it. So it's like, imagine if you and a friend were talking, right? And at first it's all surface level, but then you guys get really deep into it to the point where nothing on the outside even matters. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just really like connected in, and it's kind of like the flow state in soul when you're just in it and you're not even really moving it. Your body's doing it itself, right? And I would have that a lot with other people. Oh damn! You're spilling your coffee.
Oh yeah, no, it's hot.
That's
too.
hot. Yeah.
I got lotion on my hands, and like I felt it. My hand gripping. I was like, bruh. Thankfully, it's not like burning hot. It's just like, yeah.
No, yeah, but yeah. Overall, it's like there's a flow state that you would have with people that are in the same like frequency level that you're on whenever you're having conversation with them. Oh yeah. And so yeah, like I just when I read that I was like, oh, like I didn't know that was an actual like thing. So it was I think self-help books are great. I think even fictional stories that have a general theme, you know what I'm saying, about like, let's say for instance, purpose or living your life, whatever. I love those. But I also understand to not like put all your time and energy in just to reading these self-help books. Like, oh, this is going to be the way out. And, you know, this is going to be the way I'm going to be so successful. It's like you have to, in a way, take it with a grain of salt and then live your life as well.
Yeah, self-help books are the start, but they're not it. Yeah. You know, so I love, you know, it's funny because I used to be an elite, like a reading elitist.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, so I'd only read nonfiction. And not even would I only read nonfiction. I used to be like, yo, if you're reading fiction, like you're wasting your time. Like, why don't you read?
You're wasting your time.
Yeah, like why are you living in fantasy land? Like read something about real life. Like that's how I used to think.
That's fair.
I mean, it's not the best way of thinking. So
it's really not.
But yeah, no, but that's how I used to think.
Yeah.
Right.
Keyword use.
Yes. You know, and that's how I used to think, and like self-help books in particular were like the only like not strict nonfiction that I read. You know, self-help, personal development, business books, those type of books. And like, they were great because at a point in my life, I didn't know that stuff. You know, I didn't know how to manage my time. And at a certain point, I didn't know how to do this and how to do that. I don't find as much use in reading self-help books today because I'm not looking for the knowledge. I'm looking for ways to help make it easier in my day-to-day life. I need help with the practicability, the practice, the implementation, not the theory, not the classroom stuff, not you read about manifestation. That's great. You read, hey, to be successful, you need to be consistent. Cool. What does it actually feel like to wake up on Thursday when it's 25 degrees in the morning and you need to do a 7-mile run? Where's your consistency then? You're not going to find it in the book. You got to find it within yourself. So in the same way that you work hard in reading these books and learning the information, you have to work hard living your life and learning yourself enough to know, where do you fall short? Where are your limitations? Where do I feel weak? When do I feel weak? What brings weakness to me? What brings strength to me? Who, when I invite them into my circle, shut up. Who, me? We the best. Wait, nigga, we the best. I represent every hood around America. I'm so. Sorry.
My nose.
Your nose?
I was laughing so much that you never drink a Pepsi and the stuff comes out your nose.
Yeah, that's how carbonation.
That's how I felt.
Dang. So you gotta learn yourself and inviting people around you and figuring out oh, I feel empowered to do better when I'm around this person. I feel inspired by what challenges this person overcame. So let me surround themselves because I know it'll help me on my journey.
Facts.
That's the practical practice stuff, that comes on the other side of, once you finish, you close the book and you finish it up.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that's really hard.
Yeah. I've always been I love education, but I hate school. I absolutely hate school. And for the main reason being is that it's a lot of it, majority of it, 95% of it is theory. I think I've only been in maybe 1, maybe 2 classes in my, primary school and then college experience where it was actually okay, this is stuff you need to apply to your life. Otherwise, it's kind of theories this is how you manage a business. And I'm well, I want to be able to apply that. Why don't we have assignments where it's hey, you need to curate this idea. You need to see how profitable it is. You know what I'm saying? Really apply it kind of thing. I'm a real applicable kind of guy when it comes to life. So when it came to consistency or when it came to just in enjoying some parts of your life, a lot of times I fell short of I didn't know exactly what to do. You know what I'm saying? I was well, damn, I don't really know how I'm going to get out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? Because no one has ever given me the resource to learn it. So I have to figure it out on my own, which is great. Because I think people should have initiative. You know what I'm saying? You should look out and be all right, if I'm not doing well in this area of life, let me see what I need to do in order to get better. But yeah, just applying it sounds easier said than done. But I don't know. It's whenever I find myself being short on something, I'm all right, let's make a game plan and then just, try it. Obviously, it's not always going to go 100%. Never does. I used to think that, having a game plan and all right, cool, this is it. And then it crumbles and I'm oh my God, I'm such a failure. It's you have to fail 1,000 times before even one plan ever works. That's every day.
Going back to what you said about school, right? The first thing you said is I love learning.
I love education. I hate school.
I hate school. My question is, what other system can we create to formalize education?
What other system can we formulate?
No. What other system can we create?
Oh, create.
Okay. What other system can we formulate, right? To formalize education. Because there's different types of education, right?
Yeah.
There's in academic theory or in educational theory, there's informal, there's non-formal, and then there's formal, right? So I'm going to get informal and non-formal maybe mixed up because it's been a few years since I learned this. Right. But informal forms of education is like you just living life and going through life and just from like your experiences, and you gain a certain level of education. What did I say? Informal, unformal?
Informal, non-formal.
Okay, non-formal. So non-formal education is like, non-formal is like if you were to go out and register for a class, go to private school, be homeschooled, you're going to an educational service, but it's not the one that we as a society have created. We as a society, we've formalized our education. We've said that there's a certain amount of knowledge that's necessary for you to live. And we want to make it easier to pass down that knowledge. Like if you had to go through life and learn every single thing by yourself, it would take forever. It'd be horrible, right? So we have to create this system that like helps speed along some development processes and cognitive functions and abilities and thinking skills and all that. How can we create a marriage between almost like those two things? How can we still formalize our education systems, right? But not lose what you're saying. How can we not lose the ability to fail, right? Because the whole point of a formal education system is for you not to fail at its core. That's the reason we teach you. The reason I'm going to teach you how to fish is so that you don't stand there by the river for 6 hours with a banana.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I just said banana because it's right here, but it's the same concept. It's because you have to learn. It's like, okay, let's teach these people and whatever. So what's the balance between those two things?
I think it kind of just starts with reforming the way school even is. So school was created in the industrialization era, right? And the whole point was that it was like, oh, damn, these workers are dying because they're not getting the knowledge to know what is what's hazardous, what they're supposed to do kind of thing. So they created school. And school, the whole basis of school was to create people, not create people, but to make people go into the system, understand the formalized education that they give them, and then come out as workers. That was the whole point of the school system. But it hasn't been reformed since then. Like if you compare, I'm not saying, oh, school is prison, but I'm saying like in terms of how it is, it's like there's a certain amount of there's authority that you have to listen to. There's a certain time where you can leave the classroom, you go into the halls, the long corridors kind of thing. At this time you can eat, at this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying like, don't, do that. I think there should be a formal basis of like, certain times of the day you do this. But I think instead of the basis being, letter grades or like, oh, if you failed, then, whatever it is, I feel like there should be an implementation of like courses that can help you maneuver through life. So I'm not saying, oh, get rid of math and get rid of English. And no, these are core foundations of the human experience. Like you need to understand these things, right? But I feel at a certain threshold, I'm not really sure where it would be, but I feel like there should be a point where it's like, okay, we have these classes, cool. They don't need to be the main focus now. Now the main focus, especially as you're developing, it should be understanding personal skills. It should be understanding how to navigate through this or that. And instead of it being like, letter grades, because what I've learned is that a lot of students don't really do it because they're learning. They're doing it to get the letter grade. It's not about, oh yeah, like that's such a great piece of information. It's more so, okay, we have a test tomorrow. Okay, what do I need to know? Okay, boom, regurgitate it. I got an A, boom, let's keep it going. And that's usually how it is. And I think if we're able to, now obviously, like I said, know exactly. But if we're able to remove that and make a system where it's not based on letter grades, but actually learning, then I think school would actually thrive.
The one thing I want to go back to that you said, I really appreciate you saying, you're not calling for the end of calculus or the end of teaching math or history.
No, not at all. Because we need people like that.
Bro, I remember so often, I would say, this is so useless. Why are we learning 14th century British history? And, we should be learning how to do taxes, and we should learn home economics and how to sew and how to farm and how to build, and learn how to use our hands and our minds in ways that we're actually going to have to once you leave. And while that's valid, there's something that took me a long time to figure out, and it's the benefits of getting a liberal education, the benefits of learning calculus and basic statistics and 14th century British history, and a lot of times people, they complain and they say, I'm 30 years old and I've never used, the quadratic formula or the Pythagorean theorem or any of that stuff from math class. Like, that was a waste of my time. And we couldn't even use calculators back then. And we had to memorize the formula sheets. And now I have a phone. All of their saying is valid, but they're missing a huge point, which is that when you learn about the Pythagorean theorem, it's not because in your normal day-to-day life, you're going to be tasked or charged with calculating the third angle of a triangle or something. No, it's because when you learn about that, like the Pythagorean theorem, and then you also learn 14th century British history, and then you also learn 12th century Islamic culture, and then you also learn sociology, then you also learn whatever, history, this, that, whatever. And then you combine them and you start to make the connections between these quote unquote useless pieces of knowledge, right? Then you move from knowledge to insight. Then you move from knowledge to wisdom to insight, because you're able to find ways, and I'll give you an example of this, that ways to connect it, your cognitive skills and abilities themselves, so that you can further problem solve in the future, expand by you learning these useless things.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. And this is, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Last year, I remember I was renovating a house with Tony, right? It was a project we were doing. We took the house all the way down to the studs, popping the top, like the whole gambit. And me and Tony were sitting there one night, I remember, and we were trying to calculate how many boards of drywall we needed. And me and Tony were able to figure out within literally less than a 5 to 10% margin of error, the exact number of drywall boards that we would need for the house. And this is something that people would come in and be like, oh, you need 100 or you need 9. We were able to say, no, we need 92
to be exact.
And then we'll add in an extra 10 for, stuff that gets broken or, they miscut or whatever. And the reason we were able to do that, anyone could do it actually. It's not difficult, right? But we were able to do it way quicker because we remembered some basic math stuff. We remembered, hey, if you multiply this by this, and this, since this house is a square, and then you add in this, and then you divide it by these dimensions of whatever. It's not that if you didn't have you don't need calculus to learn how to do that. That's all actually the math we were doing was 3rd, 4th, 5th grade level math. It's basic level math.
Finding the area, finding, the volume,
things like that. It was, I don't know the exact age, but it was basic level math. You don't need to know calculus to do it, but the benefit of having a high level maths background is that you're able to do it quicker. And that's something people keep forgetting is you do have Google in your pocket. You do have Siri and Hey Alexa, right? But what are you going to tell him? What are you going to tell Alexa and Siri and Google?
When you're trying to find the answer.
Researching skills is an underrated skill. Nowadays people are like, oh, he's a bad Googler. They're not good at Googling or finding. It's called research skills, and it comes from learning these useless information. When you have to write a research paper on useless 14th century British history, it's funny, I keep using that example. I've never studied that.
You got something wrong against 14th century British?
I've never studied that. I don't even know if Britain was a place in the It definitely was, because that shows how ignorant my American ass is.
Because that's when the plague.
What?
Was it the 14th century or the 15th century?
The bubonic plague? Yeah. That was it was the 15th century, but it was the 1400s.
But yeah, because 15th century means 1400s.
Yes, yeah. Just like we're in the 21st.
First century and it's 2000s. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of critical thinking. There's a lot of just, what do they call it? Neuroplasticity and training. And like, you can make connections in your mind between varying topics that you wouldn't have been able to if you didn't learn what seems to be a lot of useless information. And that's not to say, like I said, I'm the guy who, when I was in middle school, I took home economics. I was in middle school sewing. You know what I'm saying? I was cooking. I was in class cooking and sewing. And, I took wood shop in middle school.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like
You made a whistle.
Yeah, I made a whistle. I made pillows. We made like a whole bunch of stuff. Like we actually, like, we did stuff. And like, here's the thing, right? And even people are like, oh, I didn't learn anything useful. I took wood shop, right? I took it when I was probably 13, right?
Yeah.
You're 13 years old or
middle
so?
School or
Yeah, I was middle school. So I was probably like 13 years old. I never once again cut a piece of wood until I was like 23. So when people are like, oh, this was useless, I don't remember shit from wood shop. If they would have taught it to me in my senior year, would it have helped any better? It's like, potentially, but like, that's not the point. The point is that you learn. And same thing with the cooking. There was a lot of stuff I had to relearn from cooking. A lot of stuff I had to relearn about sewing.
Same.
And
well, not sewing, but cooking.
Yeah. And part of the reason is because, like, it's not the information 100%. It's the context in which they're giving it to you a lot of times.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in a class 9 hours in a row, back to back, being inundated with philosophy, math, history, science, philosophy, math, every day. No, your only break is the 30 minutes. Like you said, it's almost like a jail sentence. Like, you get your 1 hour of free time. You get your 30, you don't even get free time. You get 30 minutes in the lunchroom and then back to it. Like your cattle, And then we're going to springboard from this into something else real quick.
All right.
Yeah. And then what ends up happening is you go and you log on Instagram, you log on Facebook.
Okay.
And then you see these dudes who are, 25 years old. They say that they're millionaires. They tell you that, they work off of a laptop. They tell you that they do real estate, that they do Forex, that they do something business related that they can't even explain.
Don't ever bring up Forex in this podcast.
Bro, Forex is legit.
It's legit, but there's a multi-level marketing scheme behind it.
I don't understand how that's possible, bro. I don't
know either.
It'd be like if someone was like, bro, like, I know a great way to make money. You'd be like, yeah, what do you need to do, bro? He's like, bro, farm, bro. Just farm. And he's like, oh, okay, tell me about it. He's like, yeah, man, you just gotta like plant stuff, and whatever grows, you sell it. You're like, yeah, that's basic.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. And somehow that turns into a pyramid scheme where someone's selling you seeds and another person selling courses on how to farm, and no one farming.
The way it is no like this. It's like Forex itself is not a scheme. I know. Right? Yeah. So that's actual, like,
currency exchange.
It's currency
real.
exchange. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
But there is a so like I remember at my college. Right. I don't know how the fuck it just happened, but it randomly exploded at my campus. Right. And so some people, like, they're like, oh, I'm doing Forex. And at first I was like, because I didn't know about the multi-level marketing scheme behind it. So at first I was like, oh, cool. You're, exchanging currency. You're doing stocks. Oh, that's great. That's great. And then it turned into, oh, but you need to recruit 5 people so that you can have a family and, discuss positive thing, like whatever it is. I'm like, this sounds fishy, right? And so initially people and I was so appalled by the way they were promoting it initially, right? So the way they were promoting it initially was like pointing the finger at you and saying, you're a broke ass nigga. You're not doing shit with your life. Why aren't you making fucking money? Generational wealth, in 7 streams of income, the
Black excellence.
Yeah, like the typical. And I remember, a lot of people did fall for the bait. But when I was first hearing about it, I was like, yo, like, just from what I know as a content creator, the way you reel people in isn't by doing the fucking middle finger at them. You know what I'm saying? It's to actually connect and understand. But no, back to what you were saying in terms of school and in terms of you know, how it's designed and stuff. I think the basis of these classes, even if, like you said, like 9 hours a day, like you're getting hammered with all these like subjects. What I'm learning, especially in school, is that it's not all about the subject matter. It's about the, like you said, the cognitive thinking, the critical thinking, problem solving skills. You know what I'm saying? Because after, you know, high school or college, employers are like, not desperately, but they're looking for people like that. They're looking for people who, you know, understand. Like, it's not all about. It's not just. It's like the in the movie Soul. It's like, it's not just about you know, the pool. Like, oh, this is just a pool. Like, no. It's not just about the ocean, right? It's about like you being there and understanding what it is around you and trying to use the information you used previously to what you have now. When you were saying woodshop, right? My senior year of high school, I took a theater production class. So at first, initially, I thought I was like, oh, I'm learning about like, you know, the actual production of theater, you know, how it works. But what it was like, all right, we're gonna be building like these objects and the background for a lot of theater plays that are happening this year. So I'm out there like cutting wood, seeing the exact measurements, all that stuff, right? And initially it seemed so inconsequential. I'm like, oh, I'm just building this, whatever it is. But now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, bro, I know how to make like this like tripod thing on wheels just from that one class. And obviously I might not like get that exactly, you know, a year afterwards. But if someone is asking me like, hey, can you help me like, you know, drill some nails and some wood and make this thing? I'm like, yeah, I know how to do it.
Mm. And then from there, it turns into, you know, from them, because when you graduate school, you said it earlier, you graduate school and it turns you into a worker.
Yeah.
And that has become a derogatory word. You know, being a worker nowadays is like almost like calling someone a felon or a pedophile or something.
Yeah.
And it's so mind-boggling to me. And I get it. Like, I understand like why these people think like this, right? Because think, like I said, like we're you know, you hate school, right? Which I'm assuming the majority of people don't like school, right? And then you're seeing all this media about school ain't it, you know, school is effing you over, school this, that, the third. And then, like I said, you go online and you see these people saying like, oh, you know, you don't need to go to school. Do these things, right? And you can make money. Don't be a worker, bitch.
You know how I got this Lamborghini? Right. Knowledge.
Don't be a worker, bitch.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like what they're saying to you kind of. And like it's perverted people's minds.
Yeah.
Because they have no grasp of reality. Everyone is a worker.
Yeah.
Everyone works. If you don't work, you don't eat.
That's what they said in Jamestown, actually, when they had the colonization. So it was they were building the colonies, whatever.
Look at you using your old
crazy,
American
right?
history, right?
Fuck.
Mr.
Hatcher. Thank you, because he was my I think he was my 8th grade history teacher, and he was saying how like pretty much back then, you know, there was people that were like actually hunting out whatever it is, and some people were just like chilling, like just waiting. And he was like, "Man don't hunt, man don't eat." Like, so it's similar to what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, like, and that's like that's the whole idea of it. Even if you go back to like old hunter gatherer tribes, whatever, like, all right, when the men are out hunting, the women are collecting berries and doing whatever.
And
like,
gathering.
You know, yeah, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you do something, like, and everyone does something, and like that's the thing. Like you may not. Like, and that's why, like, I hate that word worker has become derogatory, because what does that mean about America's work ethic? You know, what does that mean about our work ethic as a people? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's such a work culture and like everything is centered around work and, you know, like just working and like making money to pay bills and paying debt. And like, I agree, like there's a lot of messed up things, okay? There's a lot of things in the system that don't make sense, but the central tenets of the system aren't flawed. It's how we've used them and connected them to form our society today that's twisted. You know, the connections between these things are twisted, but they in themselves aren't twisted. Like, it's almost like people are like, yo, you know, oh, you have a job? You a bitch. And then, but at the same time, right? At the same exact time, it's like, well, what does Elon do? What does Jeff Bezos do? Like, what does, like, Bill Gates do? Like, not even just like...
I think the way they see it is that it's like, a lot of people consider it a rat race, right? And they say like, oh, if you're working, then you're not really shit. You're in the bottom of the bottom. But what they don't even consider is that CEOs, you know what I'm saying, the ones who are at the tippity top, they're still working. That's still, quote unquote, a job. Even if it is their passion, that's still a job.
Yeah, bro, because that's the thing that people... It's like for some reason they don't connect the dot. I don't get it. But if it's a rat race, right? If life is a rat race, the leading rat is still in the race.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is still a human being. He still has to work his ass off. He still has to eat. He still needs to shit. Like we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we had like a whole like 30-minute conversation
about poop.
Just about poop and like, you know.
Yeah.
How
this guy doesn't think some poops float.
They do. They do. But normally, if you're eating a healthy diet, it shouldn't float.
I don't know, bro. I don't be checking.
This nigga needs to check his poop, bro.
Like, come on.
You need to see how healthy your body is and your digestive system.
I feel how healthy my body is, bro. When it be leaving me,
you feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, cool. I can feel the consistency.
All right.
I got nerve endings in my anus. Don't ask how I know.
I know how you know.
What?
Yeah.
What?
A long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on, bro. We're family. Nigga, I know everything.
Okay. Interesting. Anyways. Yo, this episode about to get deleted off YouTube.
It's about to be like the #1 video we got, to be honest.
It's gonna be the most controversial video.
No, that was episode 10. Oh my, I got so much shit about that, bro.
Yeah, it was. Yo, we should actually let's bring Wild back.
No, a lot of people have been telling me that, like, yo, like, bring your sister back to the podcast. Like, she was such like a great appearance. Yeah, no, I'm done.
Let's bring her back next episode or
number 25.
Yeah, I think that'd be good number 2 anyways. What were we talking about? School worker, bitch. You were right.
The rat race, how people aren't connecting the dots, how Elon Musk is still in the race.
He's still in the race. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when people think about, I want to live that extravagant yacht lifestyle and travel the world, and it's like, yeah, you can do all that, but you're still gonna work. And then let's take the woman's perspective, because then a lot of women come into it's like, yo, I'm just gonna marry a dude like Elon, and then I don't gotta do shit. And it's like
some of them.
When I say a guy like Elon, I don't literally mean like Elon, but I'm saying like a lot of women, they want to marry into comfort.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay,
like they want to marry and then or find a man that's gonna make sure that they don't have to quote unquote work again.
It's like a caretaker in a way. Like, and before anything, I don't want that to be seen as like, all women are just looking for money and fuck these bitches. No.
Whoa.
No. We're not no red, like, you know what I'm saying? Like some red pill content be out the fucking window. No, like literally biologically, you know what I'm saying? Like women look for, like, don't get me wrong, women can be independent. They can live their life 100%. But the thing is that like naturally they want someone to be able to see like, all right, if I'm with this person, are they still able to take care of me if things do hit the fan? They have their money. He has his money. That's cool. But like I said, naturally, they just want someone to be able to like, because women do a lot for themselves. They want someone else to be able to like, like take care.
Well, that's part of, I don't want to say that's part of the issue, but like, this is going to turn into like a couple of different things.
All right, but I'm listening.
Going like off of what you just said.
Yeah.
Like women should do, right?
Yes.
But no one should strive to be independent necessarily, like in that way. You know what I'm saying?
That's not controversial.
Yeah, because the woman needs man and man needs woman.
Okay. I'm glad that you said the second part.
What? Oh, man needs woman?
No, yeah, because I thought you were going to say woman needs man. And then obviously, I was like,
nah, bro. Like what you said at the start is true, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, like if you were to ask on the general scale or public, like I would probably appear a lot like really red pill. You know what I'm saying? Like, really red pill compared to the general population. But like something I know about that culture is that a lot of those dudes, and I've said it before, like the way I phrase it is a lot of those dudes are gay to me. They're not really gay, right? But when you're a heterosexual male who hates women, you're in my mind, like that just means you're gay.
Nigga,
like,
you gay.
And it's nothing even offensive towards gays.
Oh, no.
It's just literally like the only logical thing. Like when I like, and that's why I don't even be saying it with some nefarious intent or anything.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I just literally think because I'm heterosexual, it means I like women. Yeah. So if you hate women, in my mind, that means that you're homosexual, not heterosexual, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't give a F. You know, that has no bearing on my life. Yeah, you know, but that's why when I see all these dudes on like the hard mix, and they're like, man, female nature and women's nature. I just want to be like, bro, what the hell are you complaining about? Like, what about men's nature? And like, why? Like, and it's almost to me, it's like you over here complaining about female nature. Like, it's feminine, you know? It's like, it's weak in a way because like.
The way I see it is that, so I'm going to say this book again. I haven't read it in a while, but it applies to what we're talking about, The Way of the Superior Man. So it talks about feminine nature, right? But it also talks about masculine nature. And that's not saying like feminine means woman. It just means anyone who has a feminine essence, right? Yeah. So what a lot of times the people in the hard red pill content, what they do is that they'll hear that like, oh, like women move with love, you know what I'm saying? Like they want someone to take care of them. They take that to the immediate left and be like, oh, all they want to fucking do is take your energy and your money. And like, I'm like, that is literally not what it means, right? What it means is that a woman is most comfortable when she is able to flow through love in every aspect of her life, whether it be her children, whether it be her family, her friends, her art, her profession, whatever. If she feels like she's doing the right thing in terms of her love, then that's why you'll see certain couples glow, right? Is because they understand how to interact the masculine and the feminine together.
Yes.
We have a guest appearance.
Guest appearance in the building. Mama. Who's this? Hey, Mama, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, well, he has to wait.
Yeah.
He has to wait. How much longer do we have, Ahmed?
We have 40.
No, how much longer do we have?
Oh, we have like 10, about 15 minutes.
This can't stop. اقفلي الباب ماما لو سمحتي. شكرا. What were we saying?
Oh yeah, the masculine essence and feminine essence, and that's the reason why certain couples will glow, is because it's like they understand each other and they understand what their purpose is in the relationship. But yeah, I mean, like some people just take it with a real like negative outlook. When for me, I'm like, if you're so negative towards the other person, how do you view yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you even look?
This is live.
Yeah. Damn. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. Sheesh.
Downsides of shooting at home.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my own crib, to be honest.
This is not going to solve everything.
No, it's not going to solve anything, but it gives me privacy.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all have masculine and feminine energy, right? And different parts of them come out at different times. A woman's desire to feel independent comes from her masculine energy because that's not her true nature. Her true nature is to feel comfortable enough to follow in the lead of a man.
Yeah.
You know, but but like I said, like those guys, going back to it, those guys, a lot of them, it's so much like they give off so much feminine energy in hating that, like, women. You know what I'm saying? And they pervert it and try to make it seem like it's coming from a real strong masculine place. Like look at this woman. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we both know like a bunch of different content creators and video that we can point to where it's like, you could tell like this dude's going off on this woman for no reason almost. You know what I'm saying? And you just be like, dude, you have your own personal stuff. Why did we get on this topic though? There was a connection to something I wanted to say.
I forgot.
I'm blanking too.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, to be honest. Like when she came in twice,
when our mom came in, I twice.
I was like, bro, I lost the train of thought. Train of thought,
everything. Well, shit. I mean, we have 15 minutes or so simple conversation. You know, how's life?
No, man. We were having a good conversation.
No, we were having a good conversation.
If you're a worker, and then going into women.
We had a lot of different topics.
I know. Women submitting to men, but men need to be strong enough to lead.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, submitting doesn't mean it isn't a negative thing. A lot of times, because I remember there was someone on a TV show. I'm not really sure who it was, but she was saying how she like submitted to her man in marriage. Everyone was like, submit? I'm like, what are you, a slave? It's like, no.
Is this Jeannie Ma?
I don't know.
From The Real?
Yeah, it was from The Real. So maybe it was
Jeannie Ma.
Yeah.
I love her, bro. She's like, I don't know. I can't speak to that specific clip and what she said and whatever, like, you know, but I've seen clips of her before. You know, she's with Jeezy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Jeezy's like top tier guy.
Yeah.
Right. So Jeezy's like top tier guy, and all the women on her show, like, in my opinion, most of them like kind of jealous that Jeannie got with him.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. You know, but the reason she was able to get with him is because she was willing to submit to him. And now I'm able to connect it. Okay.
The flow state is back.
Yes. We've re-entered the zone. So Jeannie Mai understands something that a lot of other women don't, right? Which is that going back to the beginning where people don't want to work anymore, right?
Yeah.
You're a woman. You want to marry a guy who has a, you know, good career prospect, you know, good head on his shoulders, whatever, right? Say you find a guy and he's CEO of some company and he's doing really well and he has a good head on his shoulders. You find him funny, attractive, this, that, the third. He's your guy. You know what I'm saying? Except he's not just your guy, right? You like him. And so does Becky, and so does Brittany, and so does
Jennifer.
Bethany, and so does Bella, and so does A, B, C, D, E, F. Everything that you like about this guy is what every other girl likes about this guy. And so you need to understand that, yeah, some aspects of your life will be easier by getting with him. But a lot of aspects of your life will be harder by getting with him. There will be a lot of aspects in your life where you'll need to work harder, right? Going back to that word work, like in the shame of being a worker. Yeah, getting with him, you may never have to work another 9-to-5 job, but that's because you're going to work a 5 to 9. You're going to get up at 5 a.m. just like he is. You're going to go to bed at 9. You know, you're going to do whatever domestic things that he wants done. You're going to provide for him. You're going to care for him. You're going to have to go to the gym and care about your own physical appearance and whatever, because he's a highly desirable man. So if you don't watch your toes and make sure that you're on your P's and Q's, he might leave. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, right? But if he also doesn't go to work and isn't on his P's and Q's, it's the same thing. And people will get offended almost that I said that, right? But imagine that you're married to a man, right? And you guys got married and then he just decides to stop working and stop going to work. right? It's like, well, at a certain point, you'd be like, well,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? You know, like there's certain things that I need and I want from this relationship, and you working is one of them. In the same way, the man looks at his woman and says, when she stops taking care of herself and going to the gym and, giving him the love and attention that he wants and whatever responsibilities that, he bestows on her, they agree to or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, then he's going to leave at some point too, because you're not working towards. And that's where like a lot of women, it's a huge right? Because they'll come into the picture and they'll be great women or there'll be great men, right? But it's from the men's side, it's so much, I feel like in our society, maybe because I am a man, it's so much simpler for people to grasp that once the dude stops working and stops like doing that job, he becomes less desirable and unattractive to the point where a lot of people would support you leaving the relationship. Think the same of yourself. If you want a man of value, think the same of yourself. You have to work hard too. Just like your man gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning and goes to the office and takes those business calls, you need to get up at 6 o'clock and you need to go to the gym so that you're in shape. And then you need to go to the grocery store and whatever and prepare this and that and the third and the kids this, whatever, so that you're doing your job too. You know what I'm saying? Just like he's doing his job. So it's like that whole, going back to the beginning, like whole idea of like, oh, you're a worker, you're a bitch, is perverted because what is it telling people about having, like, what does it say about your work ethic? Like, and that word work ethic is so strong to me because your ethics are your like your fundamental beliefs. It's your operating paradigm. What do you think about work? Like, that's what work ethic means. What do you think about work? And that's when you notice when people have strong work ethics. This is a highly ambitious person, right? A lot of girls, I want a guy with ambition. If you want a guy with ambition,
you need to have ambition as well.
You need to have ambition too, you're right? But here's the big thing too. What is your ambition and drive towards? Right? If you're a woman and say, for instance, I want a CEO. That's what you said. You want a CEO. Well, first of all, that's only like a couple percent. It's not everyone, right? If you were saying you want an average man, it'd be a little different. But you said you want a CEO. You want a CEO. You want the top 1% of guys. All right. Do you know how much work he put in to be a CEO? You're going to have to put in almost an equal amount of work to get him and to keep him. So don't complain when people say, when I say like, go work out and go to the gym and make sure that you're in shape. And people don't complain when I say you're bringing too much of your masculine. He's the man. He's the alpha man that you wanted, right? Into the relationship. You need to lean into your femininity. What?
I would just say it depends on the relationship itself. Because like I said, femininity and masculinity doesn't pertain to if you're a man or if you're a woman.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because there's some relationships where, the man is the one who stays at home and takes care of the kids and the woman is working, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, but I'm not talking about the roles.
But when you were saying like, so you don't lean into your masculine, it's like, I agree. And at the same time, I think it's okay if they lean into the masculine in some areas of their life. But I also understand what you mean when it's like, majority of the time.
Well, give me an example, right? Because in this instance, I'm saying like, you want an alpha male.
Yeah.
Right? If you want a CEO, if you want the 1%, that entrepreneur, the Instagram lifestyle type person, he's the alpha male, right? So he's the masculine energy. And that's not to say that you can't, that he doesn't have secondary feminine. We all have masculine and feminine, right? Just like we all have differing amounts of masculine and feminine. But if he is the main source of masculine energy, you cannot be the main source of masculine energy. Yeah. You can't even approach him with masculine energy.
Because then polarity won't connect.
Exactly. You need to you need to lean way into your feminine because he's already 90% masculine. And this is what I was going back to it when I was like being independent. right? The whole idea about I'm an independent woman, I got my own car, I got my own job, I got my own, that's all great, but that's all masculine stuff, right? So what can you then provide in a relationship for a man who doesn't need that? It's the same thing where it's like, you know, it's not the exact same, but if a man knows how to cook, knows how to clean, knows how to do a lot of things.
That rhymed.
Okay, cool. I just be like that sometimes. He doesn't necessarily need to settle for a woman just because she can do that. You know, she'd have to bring more to the table than just those like few characteristics.
Okay, that's fair. I was just confused. I wanted you to clarify because I was like, I'm not sure what he was saying, but it's all good. I understand it. Shoot, I mean, we talked about a crazy range of things. We talked about soul. We talked about self-help books. We talked about poop. We talked about how red pill content sometimes goes, not even really sometimes, but most times takes an immediate left. I think the more and more that we just have these conversations, the more that we're able to go into that flow state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Where like it's a lot easier to make, to do. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up, bro.
Yeah. All right. This is Ahmed.
And Luffy.
And this is the Brotherly Love Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned for our next episode, potentially with Wiley.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Peace.